see what this one looks like. They're square. Probably like top 3 because I'm using 3 bathrooms, and that's why I chose that number. Square toilet.
Yes.
City Cruises welcomes you aboard. For your safety, please listen carefully to the following announcement. Please remain seated while the riverboat is moving. And if you leave your seat, watch your step and hold on to the handrails. We have life rafts and life jackets on board for every passenger, including children's sizes. Emergency exits are clearly marked with international symbols. Please take a moment to locate your nearest exit. In the unlikely event that we need to evacuate the vessel, remain calm and follow the instructions given by the crew. Thank you for your attention.
From the River Thames, you have a stunning view of Tower Bridge, a world-famous symbol of London, so famous that it's often mistaken for London Bridge. Tower Bridge is just over 100 years old, but its Gothic style makes it look much older.
That's no accident. Tower Bridge was designed to harmonise with a much older landmark in the North Bank. The rectangular stone fortress with a dome turret at each corner. This is the legendary Tower of London, now almost 1,000 years old.
A huge grey and blue British warship named the HMS Belfast is permanently moored along the South Bank. During World War II, the Belfast fired its guns to protect the troops landing on D-Day. Today, it's a floating museum with 9 decks open to the public.
Extreme.
This particular bridge is only a few decades old, but it's at least the 5th bridge that stood here. The Romans built the first London Bridge almost 2,000 years.
The wooden bridge that stood here in the year 1014 was pulled down by Viking warriors. That's probably where the nursery rhyme, "London Bridge is falling down," got started. Parts of London Bridge fell down many times over the centuries, but it was always rebuilt.
Queen Elizabeth II opened the latest London Bridge in 1973. If you travel to the USA, you can see the previous bridge. An American bought it, shipped it across the Atlantic, and rebuilt it stone by stone in Lake Havasu City, Arizona.
Nestled amongst the modern buildings on the south bank floats a Tudor galleon painted black with red and gold trim, and two crow's nests on its masts. It's an exact replica of the Golden Hind, the flagship commanded by Sir Francis Drake on his historic voyage around the world. Why did Drake set off on this daring quest? For the glory of England.
Unofficially, it's also more than likely that Queen Elizabeth I encouraged him to loot any Spanish treasure ships he encountered on the way. Drake returned laden with riches, and the Queen's share of that stupendous wealth amounted to an estimated £600,000 in 1580, the equivalent of many million today, more than enough to pay off the country's national debt. The city's only bridge until the 1800s. Before that, if you wanted to cross the Thames without taking London Bridge, you had to take a boat. Today, we'll sail under a series of bridges over the Thames, carrying cars, trains and pedestrians. Londoners love a good walk. Blackfriars Railway Bridge has a roof topped with slanted solar panels. The train station on that bridge gets 50% of its energy from the sun.
That's amazing when you consider how rare sunshine is in London.
Oh, Romeo, Romeo. Ah, thou Romeo, deny thy father and refuse thy name.
Shakespeare's company of players performed Romeo and Juliet and his other plays in a theatre named the Globe. A replica of Shakespeare's Globe now stands on the South Bank, near the site of the original. It's a round building with white plaster walls, beams, a thatched roof, and an open yard in the centre. On a stage in that yard, actors perform plays exactly as they were done in Shakespeare's time.
Well, not exactly. Did you know Juliet was originally played by a boy? Acting was considered an indecent profession for women, so young men played all the female characters. Wealthy playgoers could afford to sit in covered galleries around the sides of the theatre. Common folk stood in the yard. People didn't bathe often back then, and they had a habit of chewing garlic, which they thought protected them from the plague. Imagine trying to play Hamlet or Lady Macbeth to an audience that, quite frankly, stank.
Today, some playgoers still stand in the yard at Shakespeare's Globe. But modern hygiene makes attending plays more pleasant than it was in Shakespeare's day. On June 3rd, 2012, millions of spectators lined the banks and bridges of the Thames.
Here we come!
Everyone in London seemed to be there, waving the British flag as more than 600 boats of every type floated past, from giant battleships to tiny sculls, including the entire city cruises fleet. Queen Elizabeth II rode in a royal red barge with other members of the royal family. This was the Thames Diamond Jubilee pageant, marking the 60th anniversary of the Queen's coronation.
It was an especially proud moment for London's watermen. The licensed watermen operate many of the boats that carry passengers on the River Thames. Throughout London's history, the city has relied on boats for transportation, food, and commerce. Back when there was only one bridge across the Thames, London Bridge, watermen were the equivalent of taxi drivers today, constantly ferrying passengers up and down the river. The competition for fares sometimes turned cutthroat. But sailing the Thames could be a risky business. The river has swift currents that switch direction with each change of the tide. Sailing under the old medieval London Bridge was especially treacherous because of the narrow archways underneath. Water built up on one side of the bridge and streamed through like a waterfall. Some passengers got out of the boat on one side of the bridge and reboarded on the other, leaving the waterman to sail through on his own. Accidents happened with alarming regularity.
Today's watermen serve a 5-year apprenticeship, a process comparable to obtaining a university degree. Many of City Cruises' captains are licensed watermen, continuing a long and proud heritage. There's no better or more historic view of London than the one you have now, from the deck of a passenger boat on the Thames. Victoria Embankment on the North Shore. These lines hold rings in their mouths for mooring boats, but there are also an early warning system for flooding. If the water rises to the level of their mouths, the river may overflow its banks. In the words of an old rhyme, when the lions drink, London will sink. When it's up to their names, we'll go down the drains.
Stone pillar. It's called Cleopatra's Needle, one of a pair of obelisks carved more than 3,000 years ago, long before the time of Cleopatra. The other Cleopatra's Needle is in New York City's Central Park.
What's an ancient Egyptian monument doing in London?
Good question. Egypt gave it to Britain in 1798, after Lord Nelson defeated Napoleon in the Battle of the Nile. 6 sailors lost their lives transporting this 180-ton granite slab to London when the vessel carrying it capsized. Cleopatra's Needle now stands between 2 gardening sphinxes that face the obelisk.
If they're guarding it, shouldn't they face outward, watching for danger?
Yes, but Queen Victoria supposedly liked them facing in. One sphinx was damaged during World War I, the second disaster to strike this monument in modern times. Some believe it's haunted by an ancient Egyptian curse. They say that at night, you can hear mocking laughter coming from Cleopatra's Needle.
The gigantic observation wheel on the south bank is called the London Eye. Each of the glass capsules around the wheel holds about 25 passengers, and the view from them is simply spectacular. In clear weather, you can see up to 40 kilometers or 25 miles in every direction. The wheel takes about half an hour to complete one turn. It moves so slowly that you can climb aboard while it's in motion.
The London Eye has 32 capsules, one for each borough in London. You'll see one of the most historic boroughs now on the North Bank, the City of Westminster, headquarters of Great Britain's government. Westminster's most famous landmark is the clock tower of the Houses of Parliament. You probably call it Big Ben, but technically you can't see Big Ben. That's actually the name of the largest bell inside the clock tower.
A light shines above the 4 clock faces on the tower to signal that Parliament is in session. Another sign that Parliament is hard at work is a Union Jack flying from the Houses of Parliament, just beyond the clock tower. This splendid neo-Gothic building is officially known as the Palace of Westminster. To give you an idea just how massive that palace is, the flag on top is the size of a tennis court. We're approaching our next stop at Westminster Hall. Please remain seated until the boat stops here. If Westminster is your destination, be sure to take all your belongings with you and return your... Bridge needed to be rebuilt just as Britain entered the war. While the men were away, industries flowed with extra hand. British women stepped in to fill the gap, doing manufacturing and construction jobs that had once been men's work. When they rebuilt Waterloo Bridge, they covered it with Portland stone. Naturally, as women, they picked the most expensive material available. Everyone loves that joke.
Known as the Shard of Glass, it stands 310 meters, or 1,017 feet tall. This made it the tallest building in Western Europe when it opened in 2012. The Shard is 87 stories, including office space along with shops, a hotel, restaurants, and luxury apartments. For a truly heart-stopping view of London, go up to the observation areas on the top levels. You'll also get a close-up look at the clear blue glass that covers the building, which is designed to prevent the spark. On one of those first sunny days in London, the Shard sparkles like a diamond.
But not everyone. Some Londoners Scan the skyline and you'll
bet those are amazing. Nice. The sights
Got a real
of
nice
London.
view now, Linda. Do you? Yeah.
Oops, sorry. I gotta get that boat. I'm just taking video.
Oh, okay, good. That was. Shows up in the picture.
Right?
We came out wicked, which was the best show ever. It's snowing, so we're all.
So.
How do you guys feel?
Oh
my gosh!
So
Not
good.
happy. It's over. I feel like we need to break out in song, guys. I'm for it. Pick a song.
I don't know.
Snow-related song? Or Wicked.
Or Wicked. Dearest darlings, Momsy and Popsicle.
My dearest father.